I believe there is a mathematical correlation between the amount of cringe that you are willing to endure in life and the money you're making, the women you're dating, and virtually anything else you might want in life. I'm gonna give you a shockingly different perspective on cringe. After this video, you will look at it differently. So let's define cringe, right? Cringe is nothing else than old you judging current behavior intended to get something new. You'll feel this cringe simply because this old version of you wants nothing to change. It wants everything to stay exactly how it is. And that's kind of a problem for a man like you on self-improvement, because self-improvement is the act of creating a new reality. So the conversation about cringe and understanding this emotion is imperative for you. So let's take the art of making money, for example, right? Going where the cringe is at means you're going where the money is at. Let me explain. Currently, our world has already fully moved online, right? Online is where we live and breathe, and screen times are going up, and we can feel a certain way about that, but hey, that's the reality, right? And so a beautiful example is that while everybody is consuming content and is living online, it is still deemed as cringe to create it, which is just freaking hilarious to me, because we're still in this transitional phase where we think it's cringe, while in a few years it's just going to be normal. Everybody will have an online resume. But currently we just have a small group of people actually doing it, because culturally we think it's cringe. And guess what? It is, to people who are scared of doing it. See, we only judge people because they are reflections to a lack of skill or behavior that we see in ourselves. And so in this example of making money online, creating content is the biggest lever, it's the biggest springboard to do so. And as long as the masses think that this is cringe, then you can be absolutely certain that you will make money if you start doing it. Right now, and the opportunity is closing as the newer generations are more adapted to it, currently it is still cringe, which equals that there is money to be made. So that's how cringe works for you, right? You have this old self that's kind of judging you for doing new shit, and then you have the masses, culture, also judging you for doing new shit. And both indicate if there is cringe, you are making a quantum leap in your life. So now let's talk about something I like to call the major cringe checkpoints. And you're gonna like this. Your life is essentially a story, right? There is a story that you're on, and there's a point A and a point B. And between that point A and B in your story, you have unique checkpoints of cringe that you have to go through. It's those big, courageous decisions that you know in your soul you're gonna make at one point, right? It's just written in there that it's something you must do or you will have regrets. But we procrastinate it often for years because we lack size in our ball sack, essentially. You could see these major checkpoints of cringe as quantum leaps, where you have this clear life before that decision was made and life after. And I'll give you a few examples. I'm sure you have too. For me, that was approaching women. I knew in my soul that these freaking dating apps and, reaching out to women on Instagram, that there's just something wrong with it, that I didn't like it, that I was a proponent of the old gentleman-like way of going up to a woman and saying hi, right? And I kid you not, for 4 years I was looking at videos and learning about cold approaching, and I just didn't do it. For 4 years it was in my head like, this is something I'm gonna do. There is no way that I can be a happy old man looking back at my life if I didn't do it. And so for 4 years I was procrastinating this major checkpoint of cringe to do the first approach. And the same was for creating content. I was already coaching for many years, and I knew I can go only to the next level if I start sharing my work online. And I just didn't, because I felt cringe. I felt cringe to go up to a woman and say hi. I felt cringe to start making videos about semen retention and have high school people that I don't really care about watch those videos. And so years it took me to pass those checkpoints. And these checkpoints of cringe are defined by the the cringe reward factor, right? The cringe is high, and so equally so, the reward will be high. And sometimes it's not even important to think about what the reward is going to be. You just know that there is that specific kind of cringe there, and the universe is going to pay you out royally. And in terms of approaching, that was just revealing a social side of myself that I'm so happy I discovered. A playfulness and charming side that I didn't see yet. And that changed my life in every facet, like in every way, right? And in terms of my business, creating content changed everything. Like there's before I started creating content and I was struggling, getting clients for like $50 an hour. And there is after, where I'm selling out cohorts. It is a clear before and after. And you have those checkpoints of cringe, and you know you do. I'm sure you can write down 2 or 3 things that you have been avoiding. So keeping those in mind, let's move on to the mental frame that changed it for me, right? That finally allowed me to make these decisions all the time in my life, like more on a daily basis. So the question for us to answer is, how do you change the relationship with the art of cringing so that you can speed up your story towards those insane rewards waiting for you? It begins with the idea that you know in your soul that this is something you're gonna have to do. That if you would be 80 years old and you didn't at least try it, that you wouldn't be happy with what you've accomplished in life. And I don't think there's anything more painful than that idea. To be older and to not have the opportunity anymore, and to look back at a life unfulfilled. So, and if that's the case, we're not looking at a should I do it problem. We're looking at a when I do it problem. And then the conversation changes, because if you know it's gonna happen, if you know you're gonna do it, then why not take a few extra years of enjoying life with that decision made, with the joy and growth and expertise built in those years? Why wait if you know you're gonna do it anyways? And this got me into a sentence that has been in my sort of visualization file, I guess, for years, never changed. And it is, eat the frog first. You've probably heard of this, eat the frog first. In every situation in life, whether we're talking about these major checkpoints of cringe or just small moments in like social situations where you know, okay, fuck, I kind of need to just start talking with someone to get into the mood, and you know yourself, right? That you just eat that frog first, that you're not gonna wait for hours. Same goes for creating content or approaching women or starting the business. To look for the frog and eat it first. To pay your debts to the universe in advance, and then see how the universe rewards you. And I find that philosophy so freeing. To just accept that there is a shitty part, this cringe to overcome in small situations and big ones. And that as long as we just accept that this cringe is going to be there, and that it's a payment in advance for something amazing to come after, then it kind of changes. It becomes more playful. And the way I would approach it if I were you is to look at those big ones, those major checkpoints of cringe. What are they? Look at them and understand that your life will be fundamentally different after you've done it. That if you know in your soul it needs to happen, why not do it now instead of wait 2, 3, or 4 years like me, man? Brother, I am learning about many things in my journey, but one thing I can say with confidence after my 28 years on this planet is that when you are cringing in that specific way, you know that something beautiful is being created for you and it's coming your way. Start paying those big debts, eat that frog, sit back and see how beautiful life can get. And talking about cringe, I have a pretty big opportunity coming up. If you're an ambitious man and you want to make real impact and money online, but not in this fucking get rich quick scheme kind of way, like to build a real business that feels like play to you and gives you that financial freedom in a realistic time frame, right? We are doing a new cohort on the 10th of September. And I'm letting you know now because they always do sell out and there's only 5 spots. We do that because we focus very heavily on each client. I don't like this idea of building a machine that, gets shitty results. We want to get real results for every client. So if you've always wanted to start a high-ticket synthesizer business, right? Turning your skills and passions into solutions for people out there, and you want to realistically make your first 10K in 6 months, you can click on the link in the description, learn a bit more, and then see if you qualify for this group, because we are looking for a specific type of man. And yeah, that's it. Go cringe a little, man. See you in the next one.